What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
Freaking idiot.
RadioWhat.com.
What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. I like to party with the people. Speaking of the people, today on the program, Kevin Seedorf. He is the writer, director, producer, casting director of a movie called McDojo. And we're going to learn a little bit more about that. Kevin Seedorf and McDojo. You have that to look forward to in your ears. This week's shows, I have one public show. So if you want to have your karaoke video dance party needs met, I encourage you to come out on Friday night at 8 p.m. to the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, I'll be on the digital wheels of steel. It's a 21 and over club. They got the full bar. The kitchen's open. 10 diamond pool tables. On Friday nights, they have a pool tournament. So if you want to make some money while you're hanging out at the Rab, waiting to sing a song, I encourage you to check out the pool tournament. Go see Mark or Debbie, and they'll tell you all about it. And they also have the shuffleboard on the party patio and the foosball, darts. Yeah, drunk people and darts. I don't know if that's a winning combination. Anyway, it's always a good time. There's always something to do while you're waiting to sing on stage and be the star of the show, at least for a few minutes with me over at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. That starts at 8 p.m. and it goes almost till about 2 in the a.m. Yeah, now, past my bedtime. All right, party people, it's time to have a chit-chat with Kevin Seedorf and find out more about the McDojo film that he's putting together. Calling Kevin Seedorf now.
This is Kevin.
Kevin Seedorf?
It is.
The man in charge of McDojo?
I am the creator, that is correct.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I've been excited to talk to you for the while now because I heard about this movie, but I don't know much about it. And then there's the man behind the movie, Kevin Seedorf, and that's you, man. Give the people a little idea of who you are, Mr. Kevin.
I'm originally from Panama City, Florida. Went to school, University of Florida, and traveled the world. Mostly been a salesman, paying for my trips around the world, and I went to film school a few years ago, and now this will be my first full-length film.
Man, what does it take to make a full-length feature film? And what is a full-length feature film? What's the definition of that?
Typically, it's got to be more than an hour and 15 minutes is the way I understand it. So, you have your shorts, your 15, 30, 40, 45 minutes. But for me, it's a full length is going to be over an hour and 15 minutes.
So what have you done up to now, Kevin Seedorf, in your filmmaking career?
Pretty much nothing other than short films and film school. So went from that and went back out selling products to save up to make my own movie.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I noticed you're on Indiegogo, and I'll say that right up front, that you're trying to raise some money to actually make this movie. What does that entail? Is that because you don't want to try to go around to different investors when you're doing it? What's the advantage of doing an independent film rather than trying to sell it to maybe a major movie making facility?
Well, you don't have to get permission, and you can do it the way that you want to do one way. That said, for someone to invest in a movie for a guy who's never made a movie before, that's a pretty risky investment. I don't blame them. People always holding their hands asking for money, pick me, when they don't really have, something to show for it, which I don't. Even though I wanted to always be a filmmaker, I first wanted to, live a life, kind of like Hemingway, travel the world, live my adventures, and gain a life experience. So instead of just, after college, after high school, moving to Hollywood, working my way up, making the connections, I just became a salesman because I was good at selling stuff, made money, then traveled, came back, made money. So kind of long answer to your question.
No, believe me, we have no time limit here. This is your story, and I want you to be able to tell it completely. Now, where are you located at now?
I am in Panama City, Florida.
Oh, you born and raised in Panama City?
Okay, so my family's from Panama City. My dad and mom are from Panama City, but they were in college in Mississippi when they had me. So I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, a place I do not remember because they moved when I was 2 years old.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So people from Jackson were like, "Oh, that's so awesome! You're from Jackson. What's your favorite part?" I don't know. I guess even because I was a little kid, a little baby. I don't remember it.
I guess the diapers were pretty good to you, I suppose. Yeah, I was born in Miami, but I think I lived in Indianapolis or somewhere around there in my early life, and I don't remember a thing about it. People sometimes ask me about it. Nope, don't remember it.
Yeah, I've lived there. That's where I went to film school. So it's very hot and sticky, very expensive, beautiful women and expensive drinks. So that's the summary of Miami.
Oh, you went to film school in Miami?
Well, yeah, I went to the New York Film Academy for a couple semesters, and they have a Miami branch, or at least did. I don't know if it's still there, but I went to the Miami branch. It's on Lincoln Road, one of the main tourist places.
I'm definitely familiar with Lincoln Road. You're pretty close to the beach there. So, yeah, and I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting in South Florida. So I'm familiar with places that have names from other places, having branches in far-off places. And so, all right.
Yeah.
So primarily you grew up in Panama City. What made you want to be a filmmaker?
Pretty much. I went to elementary school here, and I went to sixth grade, but then I went to a little town like 45 minutes north, and people who are from anywhere around the South are going to know this place, not because it's a big place. There's only one traffic light. It's a place called Cottonville, Florida. I went there my junior high years and my high school years. I think we broke a record. We had a graduating class of like 68 people or something like that. But here's what everyone knows about it. Okay, it's on a state highway, 231, that goes to Dothan, Alabama. And the 231 eventually crossed into I-10. It was a place with a bunch of fruit stands.
Okay.
Like you're traveling, think about the 80s and 90s, and the fruit stands, you stop in a small town, you get a bowl of peanuts. This place, like the fruit stands were like casinos in Vegas. It was like a fruit stand in haven. And so people don't know anything about it. They're like, "Oh, you're from Cottondale?" "Yeah, I stopped there and got a bowl of peanuts." "Oh, man, I stopped there and got watermelons." I stopped there and got some fruit. So a little town that literally the one-horse town, to the description, and then it's very recognizable to anybody in the South.
Yeah, Kevin Seedorf, it's amazing. Those fruit stands end up being tourist attractions. In fact, I remember driving, I guess, going up 95 or 75 in my young life and just seeing signs, 2 miles to Jose's fruit stand, 1 mile to Jose's fruit stand. Don't miss Jose's fruit stand. Okay, right. I got to go there.
I think it's part of the experience, like, back before, everyone had cell phones and they had stuff to do when they were in the car, before the 2000s, that was kind of the highlight of your trip.
Yeah.
Was maybe getting the fruit stand. Now, it's, people got their cell phones, they got their iPhones, they got all kinds of stuff they can do. They got literally Wi-Fi in the car. Like, I work at Panama City Toyota, and, most of the new Toyotas you can get Wi-Fi in the car. So it's definitely, for those of us who grew up as a kid, teenager before the 2000s, it wasn't definitely as fun driving. So I can see why they put. I think they still do have that stuff up, right? You still see them out there.
This portion of the podcast brought to you by Panama City Toyota. Come see Kevin Seedorf. Get a car with Wi-Fi.
Get a Toyota, man. Get a Toyota. But yeah, I mean, but that's the technology these days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing because people will come in and they'll be like, I'll ask them, hey, what do you want in a vehicle? I definitely want power windows and power locks. Those things are standard and have been standard for years. But for those of us who remember, my first car was a 2000. This was the first one that I actually financed. My dad co-signed. It was a 2000 Ford Focus, and we paid less to have the roll-up windows.
Come on.
And
I suspected by 2000 that would have been a thing of the past.
Well, hey man, people still ask about CD players, and you're like,
Grandpa, what's a CD player?
I'm like, well, CD players are kind of going the route of 8-tracks and cassette tapes.
Great Grandpa, what's an 8-track?
Right, but people still, and it's typically people, over the age of 50. But I remember I was complaining about the roll-up windows, and then, of course, there was an older guy. He was in his 40s at the time. He was like, yeah, well, my first car, AC wasn't even an option. You had to pay extra for AC. So I guess, it's you go through the decades, and you take different things for granted. So by the 2000s, AC was standard.
Kevin Seedorf, the man knows about movies, the man knows about cars. So,
yeah, hey, that's what I'm paying for the movie, man. I've been saving up as a car salesman for a while.
Yeah,
so
my dad was a car salesman, and I had thought about it through the years about selling cars, and I wondered, I guess you can make a decent living because you make your own money. If you're on commission, it's as hard as you want to work, right?
Yeah, for people who are willing to work hard. And, they're coachable and teachable. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. At our dealership, the income goes for anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000 for just a car salesman.
Oh, that's
right.
Great.
Depending on how much you sell. And so you think about that. It requires no education. You don't need any special kind of training. You can come in there and do it right away. So, but the only thing is that the reason why they pay so much is because no one wants to do it. Because
is it long hours?
Don't exactly have the. Yeah, it's long hours, and I would say next to timeshare salesmen, car salesmen have the worst reputation.
Okay, all right. I guess my dad was a dirty used car salesman. You'd have to add that adjective.
No, you just have a bad reputation. Here's what I tell folks. It's like any other industry. Think about lawyers. Think about doctors. Most are good, but the bad ones are so bad that they give everyone else a bad reputation.
Gotcha.
I've worked with those salespeople that will tell a customer anything to close the deal, and it blows up in the dealership. So most car salesmen are good, honest people, which is why for people who have been doing car sales for a long time, I give my hats off to them if they're not one of two things: if they're not raging alcoholics, or they have not lost their faith in humanity. If you can do those two things, you're awesome.
I think I did have one selling job when I was working at Bally's Health and Fitness, and I remember I had a GM that would just say, "Hey, you could play with the credit cards a little bit, just do a little fake a little fake number there, a fake approval, and it'll go right through." And that always blew up in the face. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it's those things. And then when you get up to, car sales and stuff like that, some of the things can be criminal. For example, when a bank gets an approval, sometimes they want to see if the person makes the amount of income that they say they do. They'll require proof.
Right.
So we ask for people's recent pay stubs. There have been car salesmen in the past. And I had a guy I worked with back in the day, and he said in Alabama, they got busted for federal crime because they were altering the pay stubs. They were cutting and pasting, which is fraud. That you're defrauding the banks and you defraud the banks. The banks have pretty good connections with politicians, so you can't really defraud the banks.
I lived in Orlando. I didn't have a license at the time, and they made my Florida permit into a license to sell me a car. Yeah, I've seen it happen. I've been on that side of the deal. Yeah, but you're not that guy, Kevin Seedorf. You're a good dude. And hey, you're making decent money, say 60 to 120 anywhere in that range sounds like pretty decent dough. Maybe not in Miami, but maybe in Panama City, it'll stretch a little further, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of income in Panama City. So, I'm actually the internet sales manager now. So if anyone in the Panama City area is listening, we need salespeople. We're low on our staff. And I don't know because I think you and I connected through Tanya.
Yes. Oh yeah, she's a cosplayer. Is she and an actress too, right?
She got cast, man. She did really well. And this film, the one major flaw for a very small budget film, micro budget film, is that I have a lot of acting roles in this film. There's probably about 55 to 60 speaking roles, which is not really good for micro budget. It increases the cost, which is meant for me having to work longer and taking longer to make this movie.
Yeah, but you're going to end up taking the pay cut more than anybody else, right? That's usually what happens. The guy with the dream,
go ahead.
No, the guy with the dream. You're working. All right, 94,000 sounds like a lot of money to a lot of people, and that's what you're looking for on your Indiegogo. And you've got it broken down there on how much of this money goes where. And really, I don't know what an actor gets paid. I've never been an actor in a movie that's ever gotten paid. I mean, I've done home movies and maybe little short movies for my friends and stuff. But maybe you could break it down for the people and let people know what's it all about with this Indiegogo and the McDojo movie.
Right. Yeah, so the Indiegogo, we're only asking for $9,000. The reason why is because most of the money has been raised. So a lot of the actors, they're working for, I think pretty much like actors minimum wage, and some of them are doing other stuff in the film for a stake in the film, which is not uncommon for low budget films. But essentially, I think the two things at this point are, I've got most of the stuff. Feel like a hair and makeup artist and lighting technician. So essentially, you asked me to break it down, and like so many things are running through my mind because there's so many different breakdowns. Well, can you get more specific, like the actors part?
Just begin at the beginning. Okay, when you get the idea to make a film called McDojo, and where does it go from there? I mean, it's your brainchild. I mean, how did this start, and where is it now?
Okay, so it started with me and a guy from film school. He was the star of my semester one film, and he. We made a very simple semester one film called Discount Counselor, which if you type that into YouTube, I think it's like the second or third that comes out. You can still see it was my semester one film. And like most, first semester film students, there were some errors made in the learning curve. So just forgive the errors. But so I called him up and I said, man, I got an idea for a movie. I think you'd be good for it. And we got pretty excited about it. That was Thanksgiving of 2017. Okay. So we were meeting weekly. I wrote the script. I'm a pretty, I would say comedy is my strength as a writer.
What is it? What is your strength as a writer?
I would say, comedy and dialogue. So it's a comedic film. I would say, I tell folks, if you like movies like Superbad and Clerks, it's that kind of humor.
Dig it.
All right. So I wrote the script, and then our idea was we didn't know anything about Indiegogo. We didn't know anything about raising funds. We just said, bro, let's just do it right now. So we submitted auditions for Backstage, and our idea was we were going to make a preview film while we did auditions, and then we were going to raise ungodly amounts of money. We didn't really know how crowdfunding worked at the point. at that point, and we had the auditions. People were super enthusiastic. We literally, I think, just nationwide, there was over 2,000 people from all over New York, LA. Of course, the film, we don't really have that money to fly everybody else. We were trying to get the talent in Nashville because I was living in Nashville at the time.
Right.
We had this idea that if we just, no marketing, no nothing, we're just going to place this on Indiegogo. It'll be so awesome and everyone will donate. That's not really how it works.
Well, now, how early did you hold auditions? All right, you had this script. How long is the script?
Okay, the script is typical for a comedy film. Comedy films, you generally don't want to go too long. So the script is about 90 pages.
Okay.
And the first auditions were April of 2018. We thought we were going to film by August of 2018 because we thought we were going to get all kinds of money for the movie, and we didn't.
That's pretty quick,
so
Kevin. You went from 2017, early 2017, from idea.
No. Thanksgiving 2017.
Oh, so late 2017, and already in the beginning of 2018, you had this thing going. So this is passion. Okay, you had an idea, and it exploded off your mind onto 90 pages. And then you said let's hold some auditions. And how many people did you cast at that point?
We cast a few, and I feel bad because we're talking about the movie McDojo, and a lot of people who are listening probably don't even know what McDojo is.
Oh, we'll get to that. Or if you want to explain what McDojo is, you could do that right now.
Okay, so McDojo is a martial arts gym that teaches people fighting techniques that have little or no practical application in a real-life fight. It got its name by combining McDonald's with dojo because they hand out black belts like McDonald's hands out cheeseburgers.
Okay, this is what I was thinking. This is exactly what the title tells me. You know, it sounded like a well, hey, not that McDonald's is bad. They've served billions and billions of burgers, so they're doing something right. But yes, that you're handing them out like McDonald's burgers. I get it. Oh, that's fantastic, man. And is that how the idea started with you and your classmate?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've always for about a year or a year and a half before, I had always loved McDojos, and there was a guy called McDojo Life on Instagram. I love watching stuff about people who believe in that fake crap. So anyways, I came up with a movie, and the movie, for it to work, I knew that it couldn't just be a comedy, a karate spoof.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't really big into spoof movies. I wanted to be a legit comedy that focused on the con, right? The con artist and the people who are getting con, the mentality of both and the effects on both. And so it grew into something pretty special when I was writing it. And people could feel it in the synopsis that I put out there. People were messaging me from LA, from New York, and all these places. And it was really cool seeing people audition with the lines that I wrote. And they're very, very enthusiastic. So we cast, I would say, so of the first auditions, they were cold. I only cast one person, but I had callbacks. After the callbacks, I had about 10 people out of the 60.
Out of 60.
That would cast. Okay. So that still left a lot. And we realized that me and the other guy, that, man, this is going to take a lot more work than what we thought it was going to take. He ended up moving to California, got a new agent, and with the uncertain change of dates, he had to drop out of the project, and that stunk. So, yeah, he was the other lead actor in the film, and that hurt. At the same time, I wished him well and understood why he wanted to leave, because there was no certainty, and he had an agent that needed certainty.
Well, I think it's easier to get into a movie in California, you know. But hey, you got a dream, and you got a few people backing you up. Kevin Seedorf, continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So after that, I was like, okay, I will move this to April of 2019, and I was going to do it in my hometown of Panama City, because Panama City, I can get locations for free, and I can get a lot of extras for free. Nashville, I didn't really know the place that well. They were going to charge me arm and a leg. So
wait, how do you get places for free? Because you knew the people, or because it was guerrilla filmmaking?
Because I knew the people and their excitement about being in a movie.
Excellent.
While Nashville's not exactly a movie hub, they're not so, it's Music City, man. So they're not so thrilled with the concept that they're going to let you do it for free at any time you want. And like the gym we were going to use, they were charged like $100 an hour, which was going to equal the amount of hours I need, like $4,000. And the martial arts gym I have here is for free.
Yeah, I suspect, Kevin Seedorf, it's also their tourism. They don't need the shot in the arm that maybe Panama City would need. Hey, you're going to do a lot for Panama City if you film it there on location.
Exactly, and especially so then Hurricane Michael came, which ruined. I mean, if for those who aren't from Panama City and have never been there, I mean, the devastation is still a disaster zone. The people who have lived here, we've kind of gotten accustomed to it, but it's going to probably be 20 years so we're exactly the same in terms of the trees, the homes, probably 5 to 10 years. So it completely wrecked the place, and there was no way I was going to be able to do it in April of 2019. So I
Kevin, on a personal note, how did you and your family fare with Hurricane Michael?
Okay, so fortunately, I have extended family that I could stay with.
Oh, super.
And that was a big thing, man, because if not for them, I would have had to move away, and the movie probably would have gotten off track for a long, long time. So I had extended family. Nobody got hurt.
But your place got wrecked?
A lot of damage. What's that? Yeah, it did, man. It got fixed eventually.
Yeah.
And I still have my sister and her family, and then my dad and then my stepmom, they're still fighting with the insurance company. I know my dad's got representation. So that's a big thing here, man. People still fight with their insurance companies. So long story short, there was no way I could film it in April of 2019.
Nope.
And so I had to move it back till the end of the year. And my thought was, okay, most of my actors are in Atlanta. Atlanta's a big hub. I'll do Atlanta. And then Atlanta, they were still charging a lot of money, and my 2 scouts just couldn't dedicate the time.
Yeah.
So I had to move it up until the spring of 2020. We're going to film it. The first day of filming is Star Wars Day. You know what day that is.
Oh, yeah. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th through the 24th. Those are our days of filming. And Panama City has rebuilt lightning speed. The community's really come together. And, we got most of the locations, a lot of enthusiastic people to help us out. My biggest challenge at this point is filling the roles that I need to fill. I'm still going to have to do a lot of work for casting for the roles that still need to be filled. But back to Tanya, some of this is going to be people who have never acted before, and you don't really need that so much for like the one-liners, like a waitress who is, hey, can I take your order? Tanya has a pretty big role, and she did really well in the audition. She was really focused. She had really good chemistry with the guy that we did, and I thought to myself, you know what, man, this film is a chance, and I'm going to take a chance on Tanya, and man, what she's done so far for this project and all she's brought to the table is one of the best decisions I've made so far.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, you say she's not an actress, but she's been doing this cosplay thing for a while, and I consider all these cosplayers that I meet up with.
Right.
Yeah.
It is not to say that's not acting. She just hasn't been in films is what I meant by that.
Right. No, I get it.
So she's perfect because she's hungry to go out here and do it, but she has some experience playing, different characters. So that was a huge fun. That was a very, very big role to fill because in all the scenes in the movie, for me, that's the funniest scene in the movie that she's in.
Oh, that's great.
So it's awesome for her, and we're real excited to have Tanya part of it. I still have a lot of people to cast. So in terms of the budget, I would say the biggest portion of the budget goes to the actors, and here's why.
Yeah.
Could I get a lot of people to do it for free? I could, but this film is dialogue heavy and it relies on the acting. We don't have a big budget. We don't have special all this big equipment, all that kind of stuff. It's going to rely on the dialogue and the acting.
Now, Kevin Seedorf, you mentioned Clerks earlier, and Kevin Smith originally wrote the part of the clerk himself was going to be Kevin Smith, but it was so much dialogue. Did you write this movie? Did you write any parts for yourself, or are you going to be the director solely?
I am. I'm one of the two main characters.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to direct yourself as one of the main characters.
Yeah, so fortunately, I have a man who was my director of photography and has directed himself. This guy's done really well for himself. His name is Marcus Wells.
Excellent.
And after film school, he moved to L.A., and he's filmed from his own projects, some series. He was on a couple projects he was on. He was on The First Purge.
Oh, okay.
He worked as a production assistant for Dolomite Is My Name. If you're a Netflix guy.
Yes. I like that movie, man.
His day job is editing videos for The Wolf of Wall Street.
Excellent.
So the guy, he does he's a true film school guy. Film school, they train you in everything. They train you in lighting, they train you in editing, they train you in directing, at least at the New York Film Academy, because New York Film Academy is all about immersion. So he's going to be my director of photography, but kind of unofficially a director to direct me. Right.
You're giving the people gems, because I always see second unit, third unit. They could be off shooting another scene or some B-roll or something. You're giving the people a little idea behind the scenes of how a film is made in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of the big. When people ask me, like, "Hey, man, is it worth going to film school and spending $100,000?" Here's what I tell them, and to be very clear. Second semester, I left film school because I didn't want to get super much in debt, and I saw my best route as going back to selling stuff and raising money for our own movie. But he actually finished it in 2 years, and people ask me, "Is film school worth it?" Here's what I tell them: technically, everything you could learn from film school, you can learn on either YouTube or books. You could save the money, on film school, bought the equipment and film your own movie. The benefit of film school is you're getting hands-on instruction from people who have been there, but also connections.
Yeah.
The networking.
And they put it all into a curriculum. I say the same thing about radio school. Went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Could I have been on the radios as long and as often? Yes, I could have. But yes, they give you all those. In fact, they give you a little TV. They give you a little editing. They give you all these little skills that, yes, you could have learned them on YouTube, but you would have had to spend the time. Is it worth the $100,000? Maybe, maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, look, if you make that one connection and that freaking connection, it makes it big and says, "Hey, man, I can trust you." You paid for it right there. So, when this movie does well, who benefited more from the connection, me or him? I don't know. It doesn't matter because the movie's going to be awesome. So
is it who you know? Often it is.
Man, that's the reality of life. I wish it's a reality, but you know what? A part of who you know is people who see your work ethic and what you do, and can you keep your word?
Oh yeah.
This guy has a strong work ethic. He keeps his word. I have a strong ethic. I keep my word. So, we connected, man. We did really well. We had a 4-person team for the student films.
Uh-huh.
And the other 2 people weren't available to be there the whole time. So he and I did the whole thing, and we made it to where I was told this years later that my semester 1 film was still, this is what they told me. I don't have like a poll or anything.
Right.
They said it was still the most popular one for semester 1 films.
Hey, that's great. That's high praise. It's good to be recognized. And that's your first step to where you, next is the Oscar.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it was a student film, but I kept it simple, man. I didn't try to do too much stuff. And it was a funny little scene But he was there, man. He was good with the lighting. He was good with other stuff, and he knows it's a low budget film. He's going to come with his own equipment, most likely, and we're going to be doing a lot of stuff together on this. So, real excited to have him.
That is good. That is a good connection, Kevin Seedorf. You have the passion, and you're spreading it. Your enthusiasm is contagious. I can already tell that, and I've only been speaking to you for just, I don't know, half hour or so, and I can feel that you are very passionate about this project, man, and it's going to happen. Now, by hook or by crook. Now, you say you have most of the funds that you need already raised. How did that happen? Was it all Indiegogo, or did you find other sources?
No, most of it was me just being successful at selling cars.
Go get them, Kevin.
So, I mean, look, there's different routes you can take to success. And at this point in my life, the most direct route to get this movie made was, do I enjoy being a car salesman? I wish I could say yes. I mean, look, in Panama City, the best place to work at would be the place I work at.
Good.
For the most part, I mean, it's a solid company. It's solid people that you work with, and Toyota's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I heard you talking about Toyotas. You were pretty passionate about that. As long as you believe in what you're selling. Hey, I believed in health and fitness. That's why I went to Bally's and sold that. And if you believe in cars, believe in Toyotas in particular, yeah, you're going to do just fine, and you're doing fine. But you're not using OPM. You're not using other people's money. This is so dangerous, man. You are, such a risk. You're using your own money to fund this. This is how passionate you are, Kevin Seedorf.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I believe in the project, and it's exciting being with the actors who believe in the project as well. Some of them have been there since, for 6 months. Some of them have been there for almost 2 years now. Yep. And, we're getting to the point where it's going to happen. And, we expect this to go Napoleon Dynamite. We expect it to be an independent film that goes out there and just has worldwide recognition and distribution. Could I have filmed it by now? If I wanted to save a bunch of money, sure, I could have saved money on actors, on, the crew and stuff like that. But I'm willing to wait a couple years to do it the right way. Yeah, and we're going to do it the right way.
It would have shown if you'd have done it with a shoestring budget, where it would have been very haphazard, thrown together. Now, Robert Rodriguez did that when he did the mariachi, just to kind of show it out there, and then they made this full length film with Antonio Banderas, which is kind of what I'm feeling with you. Did you said that you were going to make like a test film? Is that something that you did? Maybe like a smaller version?
We did it. We did a preview film, but it was only one day.
Okay.
It was only one day and about 5 or 6 minutes.
And what's the advantage of that?
Well, we thought if we just put it out there, people would be like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome," and we're going to give you money. That's not really how crowdfunding works.
Okay. That's what you were trying to explain to me earlier. Yeah, that's right.
Crowdfunding, you got to build the audience over time. And that's why, look, I asked for a very small amount, $9,000, which was, friends and family, and then, the rest from there. And I tell folks on there that most of the money's been raised. We're just looking for a little help for the finish line. That said, I mean, the movie's going to get made.
Oh, I guess I read it wrong. I thought it was $94,000 that you were looking for.
No, just $9,000.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot easier.
Oh no, you looked at you looked at the first attempt in 2018.
Okay.
You didn't look at the 2019. Okay, so that was one of the mistakes I made. And the people who were involved in the project, when I told them about my plans for the new one, the new Indiegogo, I told them I did everything you could. I literally read a book by someone who studied successful crowdfunding, and I pretty much did everything wrong. the first crowdfunding. And that was one of the things, is that I just threw out this crazy number that I didn't really need and hope that people would just start throwing money at it, and it didn't work. But no, 9,000. You got to look at the second one, because the second one is 9,000. It has the actors who have been cast on there.
Oh, okay.
And it has a bit of description of it.
Well, I sure didn't find that one. When I looked up your name, this is one of the top things that came up on Google was the Indiegogo that you were looking for.
The unsuccessful one.
Okay. I mean, it does give me a little idea of what the movie's about, and gives me a little, overview of what this is, and it gives me a little idea about you as well on that one. But you say that there's a whole nother one.
Go to Indiegogo and type in McDojo, and you'll see it's the most current one. We've raised way more than the first one.
Oh, that's great.
So, man, the actors have really been working hard on it, and it's exciting because it's going to be, once it gets cast, and this is my main focus the next 4 months, is the actors who haven't been cast, but the actors who have been cast are awesome. Some of them are very, very experienced, like Christina Lytle. Some of them, like Tanya, are not so much experienced in film, but they're very talented and hungry. So the combination, man, when it comes together, you're going to see it on film. And I literally will spend every dollar I have for this movie because I know it's going to be successful when the final product comes out.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. So, all right. So where do we go from here? I mean, what's next on the agenda for McDojo? You have 10 out of 60 cast. Where are you at now? It was supposed to be. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, there's roughly 20 out of the 30 paying roles that I'm working on.
Gotcha.
So the 30 roles that are not going to be paid are going to be friends and family and local people, which I've already had overwhelming response on those. I just haven't selected who I wanted. Like out of the 60 speaking roles, roughly about 30 of them are just like one-liners, or literally some of them are even one word.
Okay.
Right, like hello. So that's not going to be too difficult. The biggest focus is on like the 10 to 15 that I'm willing to pay for to get those cast.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
Also,
go ahead.
Yeah, and also to have backup plans in case there's a scheduling conflict for some of the other actors who have been cast.
I love the tiers on your Indiegogo. It makes me giggle a little bit. Some of them, I mean, you got, $10 for the shout out, $25 for a DVD, and it goes all the way up to like a signed script for $200. You could be an extra for $500. It's pretty cool. I mean, and actually this is probably money that one of them is like, you could be a producer for $3,000. And I think you'd have to put that forth if you needed to, if you wanted to be a producer, you would have to be able to raise at least that amount of money. But it's
I mean, look, it's there for anyone who understands the project and wants to get their foot in the door. Because you look at what we're doing, and a lot of the actors now have discussed this. Let's say for whatever reason, the movie is not as financially successful as we planned. To have a quality film under your belt, right? For me personally, I will no longer be a first-time director.
Correct.
Hey, here's my film. I have a quality film. For you as an actor or producer, hey, look, I played a really great role in a quality film. I was a part of that project. That's a big deal. So I put it out there for folks who, want a direct route. Look, you could move out to LA, pay the $1,000 to $1,500, $2,000 a month in rent.
Oh, yeah.
And go through the years doing this, or you could have a direct route by just buying your way into this film.
Yeah, and you're going to get IMDb credit, which is gold for a lot of starting.
Exactly.
For people starting out in this business. This is fantastic. I don't have an IMDb credit. If you get involved with McDojo, you might get an IMDb credit. How about that? Can anybody else offer you that? Nope. Probably not.
Exactly, and you can go to film school and spend $150,000 to get your producer stuff, and then you can start from the beginning.
Yep.
And then work your way up, or you could just pay $3,000 and get your IMDb credit and get started that way. So, coming from a guy who went to film school and seeing people go to film school and spend all this kind of money, and they spend all that money, and then they have to start their way at the bottom. I think there's a lot of people who look at this and say, if they knew what they had known before they gone in, they would have taken this. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So you mentioned your mom and dad and your family. What do they think about your endeavors getting into this? And are they trying to get involved? What's the support there?
They've always been supportive of me. I don't think they liked it when I was younger and wanted to leave the country for a long time. And that's a good thing. They shouldn't like it because they want to see their son. They love their son.
Right.
But I say, hey, I want to go to Spain for a while. I want to go to Mexico for a while. I want to go to different parts of the country. I want to do this. While they would love to have me at home, they were always supportive of that, and they're very supportive of this.
So what year did you graduate high school?
What's that?
What year did you graduate high school?
I am the class of 99.
99, okay. All right. And then you went straight to college from there, or you went and traveled from there?
That was my dad's influence. I went straight to college.
Okay.
He wanted me to go straight to college, get a degree. So I found the kind of compromise when I was at University of Florida, and they had a study abroad program, a fair, really.
Oh, okay.
And there are people from all these different countries. They're like, you should come here, you should come here. I got the fever. I want to learn all these different languages. I want to go all these different countries. Well, he wasn't excited. I think he kind of knew he brought it on himself, So, he's the one that made me go to college. So even though I wanted to go straight to film school, he just wanted me to get a degree in something, and I got it. And studied abroad and just absolutely loved it.
What did you end up with? A degree in what?
Okay, so I majored in psychology most of my career. I minored in Spanish, and then last semester, I switched it to a degree in Spanish because I did not want to take pre-calculus to get my psychology degree.
My first love was psychology, and yes, that was my first major when I started at Broward College. So yeah, but then I guess I switched it up to communications and radio eventually. So yeah, that's what I ended up with. But you never know where you're going to end up. So habla español.
I mean, look, it's a little deceiving because a degree in Spanish is kind of misleading because I was a psychology major for most of the time.
Right. Oh, okay. I mean, but you do speak Spanish, right?
I do, and I can say this, for all the people who get degrees that are not related to the jobs they've had, the commission I've made off of Spanish-speaking customers is more than what I spent in college. So
there you go.
In a way, I kind of did get something related to my degree because of what I can speak.
Yeah, I'm half Cuban, and I've gotten so many jobs that I'm not qualified for because I speak Spanish. Okay, so hey, for all the kids out there, learn another language. And what can you do with your Spanish degree besides what you're doing? I guess you could be a Spanish teacher. I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, why don't you teach Spanish?
Right.
And I taught English. I'm like, well, maybe because I make 4 times as much as a salesman.
Absolutely. Hey, and the children are our future. For all the teachers that are listening, God bless you and good on you. But you had to make some cash, man. You're trying to make a movie, Kevin Seedorf.
Oh, and for the teachers, immediately after college, I taught English in Spain. So I was a teacher, by the way.
That's cool, man.
I was a teacher, and I wanted to be a teacher for like a couple years.
Yeah.
But so before I was a teacher, I went to Spain in the fall after I graduated. In the summer, I got my first real sales job, which was a big company called Southwestern, which has been around for 150 years.
Is that
and
the
they
airline?
take college students. No, that's Southwest. Southwestern is the book and CD selling company. So they market educational products directly to the homes of families.
Cool.
So they get college students. They get them in small groups. They send them in different parts of the country to sell. Essentially, it's door to door, but you have a way to make it kind of not door to door, which is a different discussion. But you essentially market products to families' homes, and I did really well. And before I went to Spain, my sales manager said, "Hey, man, you got a skill that pays, man. So you should come back and grow, make some more money, and travel again." So instead of staying in Spain and teaching for a few years, I came back and became a sales manager for that company at the age of 25.
Excellent, man. He's a go-getter. Kevin Seedorf. That's fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, look, hey, I was a teacher myself, so nothing wrong with that. Just based on my goals in life, I need a little more funds than what a teacher makes.
Oh,
so,
fantastic, yeah.
But technically I fall in the 12% of Americans who get a job related to a degree, because I did get a job teaching English as a foreign language, so it technically puts me in the 12% of getting a job related to their degree within 6 months of graduation.
Well, all right, man. You did it. You did it. Big round of applause, Kevin Seedorf.
Exactly. And forgive me, like, sniffing my nose. I'm getting over a head cold.
Oh, man. You sound good from this side. I guess the sound quality's just fine. All right. So you're telling me about, making a movie, making McDojo. It came from you late in 2017. You started to get people together early in 2018. Hurricane Michael stopped you from making this movie at the beginning of this year. So you were all ready to start production, officially start rolling film. I guess it's not film anymore. It's digital, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing digital.
Yeah.
I don't have the money for film.
Yeah, I mean, and that lowers the cost a little bit, but I know that there's cameras. Let's see, I went to broadcasting school to kind of re-up a little bit back in 2003, and they had already had this little Canon S1, or was it? No, it might have been the S2 was starting to come. Oh, was going to come out. No, but the S1, and they were already making movies on that thing, and they were so impressed with it. I mean, what kind of equipment is it that you have, or I guess you have your friend bringing it from California, lugging it all the way over here? I mean, what is it taking to make a digital film? I mean, and I know that they can make it on an iPhone. They can make it on an iPhone if you had to. Yeah.
It's so easy these days, man. There's you can go to lensrentals.com and they will ship it to you with the insurance on it.
Wow.
It's easy. It's so much different, and because of the lowered cost of production, it's there's so many more movies being made,
right? Which
is good for the filmmakers. At the same time, more movies are being made. There's a lot of low quality movies being made.
That is correct.
So when I see people, you don't have any equipment? Well, shoot it on your iPhone. Well, it's going to freaking suck.
Yeah.
Probably on your iPhone, most likely, because of the sound and the lighting. So, could I have shot this for, $5,000 to $10,000 on my cell phone? Yeah, but it wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, I say that there was a film made on the iPhone 3 or 4, but they had a lot of attachments on that phone, including an outside microphone and shading, different filters and such. So, yeah, it wasn't just the phone.
Yeah, when they talk about successful movies on the iPhone, you're typically not hearing all the story. There's typically more equipment that was involved that you didn't hear about. To just take it from your cell phone and record it, it's going to be super low quality. And my thing is this, my first full-length film isn't going to be crap. So I want the equipment, and more importantly, I want the actors there, and I've searched very hard to get the actors who are currently involved and who are going to be involved. There's a lot of funny scenes in the movie. There's a lot of awesome scenes,
right?
And I'm not going to save money by getting local actors for free who are subpar.
Yeah, you've already done all that in film school. You made your shorts. I mean, how many shorts did you make in school?
Yeah, I mean, the New York Film Academy is the best, man. You make like 5 shorts your first semester.
Oh, and
crazy.
Each one's like, what, 5 minutes long? Or is like a scene?
I don't know. The first one's the mise en scène, which is like 1 minute.
Yeah.
And you go a little bit farther. But, New York Film Academy is what I chose because the hands-on immersing.
That's great.
And that's where I met Marcus, and we vibe pretty well together.
That's cool. If you're going to do it right. Okay, so shout out to New York Film Academy, and hey, you went as far as you needed to go to get to this place where you're at now. Now, okay, what's next? I mean, do you have to audition? Are there auditions coming up? What's next for your movie production?
Next is filling the rest of the roles. That's my primary concern. We're at a very good stage right now.
Okay. And how are you going to fill those roles?
Well, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to auditions. I'm going to have to advertise in different ways. I've only gone through one route. That's backstage. I've been told by some actors there are better ways and more ways to reach people.
Cool.
I've also reached out to actors who are involved, and they have offered some people who may be good. I may have to go nationwide and fly some people in, but that's my biggest concern right now is filling the additional roles that need to be filled. Most of the small roles will not be an issue. So at this point, primarily it's the acting, securing down the locations, and May is going to be an awesome month. It'll be probably one of the most fulfilling months of my life, and then after that, it'll be post-production. So,
now, how do you come up with a 20-day filming schedule? Is it something that you have storyboarded out, or I mean, I'm guessing you learned this in film school. I can make that film in 20 days. Okay, got it. Why?
Okay.
How?
Well, the film technically could be filmed in 9 or 10 days.
Okay.
But here's a big problem with low-budget films is that it is the acting. And it's not because you don't have good actors. It's not because you have a bad script. It's because you spent so much effort and time on production, you have no time to focus on the acting. That's why I'm moving it out to 20 days.
Well, the thing is, anybody involved with any project, any movie project, especially an indie project that doesn't have a lot of money, you better, and this is for the actors that are out there that are thinking maybe I can be in this McDojo film. You got to come prepared. Be completely off book by the time day one filming starts. Kevin Seedorf doesn't have the money for you to be taking take after take after take, not knowing your lines. Am I correct in all that?
Well, yes and no. You absolutely must be prepared. That is absolutely right. The extra time I prepared allows us room for not just error, but to try different things. Now, in order for us to try different things, you got to be prepared. You got to know your lines. So, yeah, pretty much, yeah. This is not going to work if actors do not have their lines rehearsed. And this is a part of the very, very hardcore focus on the actors. I did cold auditions where they didn't see the lines. I did warm auditions where they knew the lines. And the people who have been here are not only talented and good, but they're professional. So, I'm so excited about the people that I have. I could go on and on about them. You go on the Indiegogo website, you can get a little bit about them.
Yeah. Go
on the Facebook McDojo movie or the Instagram McDojo movie. You can learn a little bit about them. But yeah,
now
I do not have the budget to reshoot for another 10 days. And that's why I'm so picky is I got to have the right people. Some of the people I've had to let go because I have scheduled calls, and they miss the calls without warning. And it's a bad sign, man.
Yeah, if they're not going to show up now, they probably won't show up on the day you really need them. So I've been talking to Kevin Seedorf, the director, Kevin Seedorf, the casting director. Let's talk to Kevin Seedorf, the writer. Your words, man, are they tight, or are you going to let the actors improvise a little bit, or does it have to be word for word what Kevin Seedorf wrote?
That's what I got. That's one of the. Excuse me. That's one of the main things I got out of film school is, before film school, when I was in my, most of my first semester, they had to get every word down to the penny. Mm-hmm. But I learned not just from my experience, but from the teachers, that can affect the performance. So I'm all about freedom. I tell actors, I'm not married to the words. If you're feeling it, you're in the moment, go for it. That said, let's try different things. You got you want to try something, we'll try it. And then we'll try something else. One of the things we're going to try is the script as written.
Now you're giving me an idea of what kind of director you are. You're going to give me one, and because you've doubled the amount of days you need for filming, you can do this. You can do it maybe twice, if you had to. Give me one the way I wrote it. Now give me one the way you're feeling it. Is that the way you're going to be doing it?
Here's the thing. Look, if someone does it the way the first priority is how they feel it.
Right. Oh, and wait. Okay, that's telling me something. The way that they feel it. If they're, my main thing is this: you have to be in the moment.
You have to be in the scene, right? So you're focused. You're in the moment. You're in character. If something comes out that's different, then go for it. Absolutely.
All right.
But we're gonna try something different, and no matter how awesome it is, I'm gonna try something different. All right. And typically what's different is what I wrote specifically, but I have time to try different things. That's why I've scheduled the days that I have. That said, in order for us to successfully try different things, you have to know your lines. And so a big part of what I've done is I've had weekly conversations. Well, not weekly, but I scheduled them on a Sunday. And the big thing is who's on time, who's ready for it. And I'm telling you, man, I'm working with pros.
Good.
I'm working with people who are younger. Most people you have not heard of, but you're going to hear from them in the next few years. And it's very exciting to have them part of this project.
Well, Kevin Seedorf, what I'm hearing is maybe you don't need you do need to know the lines, but you need to know the character as well. You have to become that person. That's how you feel it. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's organic. Man, you're in the moment. You know what the character wants. You're going for it. Forget the camera. Forget it all. And I found people who are comfortable with that. I found professionals who make the effort and also who are willing to take a few risks.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, what I have so far is awesome. I just got to find awesome pieces who have not been placed yet.
Yeah, you're gonna find diamonds in the rough, man. You're gonna be polishing some people off. I can see it, man. I see nothing but good things here. I'm hearing this project. I'm excited, man. And it's not even my project. You're just chit chatting on a podcast about it. Hopefully, drumming up some more interest in it. And Kevin Seedorf, man, what's the next plan? I mean, do you have anything lined up? Do you have a schedule of auditions lined up or any place, or just follow you on the Facebook?
Okay, so I'm going to let it chill for the rest of the month, and then in January I'm going to post for Atlanta auditions, and then I'm also going to post nationwide. At this point, I'm okay with accepting video auditions.
Oh, cool.
Most of it at this point has been I have to be there in person, based on what we need and the talent that's needed, and my time frame. I'm open to some video auditions. I'm going to try with Atlanta. Atlanta's a huge talent hub, and I've been told that I've only tapped into about 20% of talent with just going with backstage. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, I think half of Walking Dead is people, just townspeople from Atlanta.
Yeah, I know. And that's what frustrated me, because I thought at this point I would be fully casted,
right? And
to have a bunch of roles, I thought it would be done right now, but I've been told, hey man, you just went to one source, and you need to go to the source. That's my thing. I got my talents, I got my skills and my focus. This kind of stuff is not my forte.
No, you still have some kind of a learning curve. Hey, it sounds like a great project, but it is your first project, man. You are still learning, and people gotta bear with you on that.
Bro, my goal is to make this successful, and then this other stuff, people arranging auditions, locating the talent and stuff like that. That's done by other people. At this point, I'm doing everything myself, and I just maybe I'll drop the ball, but now go to more sources. I'm still learning.
Oh, you got this, man. You got this.
We're focused. Hopefully, I can fill everything either in Atlanta, Nashville, or Orlando, which are people within driving distance.
Yeah, because you don't have the budget to be flying people out or even having them stay with you too long. Yeah, hopefully you have a few blankets.
I got places set up for lodging. The flying tickets, I got to limit those because those are adding up. So, at the same time, man, I got to have the right actors. I can't do subpar acting for this, because the movie just needs great actors, and I got great actors so far. I can't ruin it with just getting, someone who's not that good and, does stuff for a local theater or whatnot. So I got to resource that.
No, you're doing it right, man. You're taking your time with it. You could have shot it with a cell phone and it would have been terrible. Now you're taking your time. You're learning some things. You're putting things down in order. You already have a schedule that you're going to work in 20 days, and I wouldn't even know to put. I've never made a movie, but I wouldn't know that you could schedule a movie in 20 days. I thought they all took years to make, but
oh no, man,
I'm learning.
Dude, look up Netflix. Look up Netflix, man.
Yeah.
Look at how quickly they make their movies. It's insane.
Yeah. And I guess animation, South Park, they make it weekly. Sometimes the day before a big thing happens,
I saw that recently, that they get a storyboard, they do it in a few days, and it's like, damn, how do those guys do that?
Yeah. Something big happens in the world, and they go, ooh, we got to spoof that, bam, there they go.
It's awesome. I have been a loyal follower of South Park for over 20 years, man. Yeah. I was one of the originals. I was in high school. We were talking about how cool South Park was.
I still got a South Park T-shirt in my drawer here.
Bro, I didn't just do that. I had the South Park boxer shorts.
Bam! One-upped me.
I one-upped you, man, and it was all four of them. It was Kenny, Cartman. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It was all four of them. Colin Stan.
Yeah, I know it's kind of late in the game here, but what influenced you to be a filmmaker? Were you taking home movies of your family? Were you bothering them all the time, or what told you?
Very people ask me your influences. And it's kind of like saying, how did you develop your personality? There's
Correct.
So many. Just 1 second, man. Let me take my 5th shot of NyQuil to be
He's about to sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching. How did I wake up on the floor?
People
medicine.
are like, damn, this guy's talking slower and slower. It's like, about that shot after shot of NyQuil severe flu. So ultimately, man, as a kid, it was all about Star Wars, Indiana Jones, the big flicks.
Yeah.
One thing that rocked my world, man, was when I saw Pulp Fiction as a teenager.
Come on, man. Yeah. Quentin.
Holy crap, bro. That made me just want to act and made me want to write and direct. That was like a massive, but in turn, that fed a huge passion for just awesome cinema, awesome dialogue. At the same time, there's a passion for comedy, and Seinfeld was just the comedy. I mean, I'm in Central Time Zone, so there was Friends at 7 p.m. and Seinfeld at 8. And Seinfeld was important, man, because I was a typical, teenager, like, oh, I'm so cool, my parents are so lame at first, and then it was my dad who got me into Seinfeld, and I realized, man, this is the funniest stuff I've ever seen, I was like, well, okay, my dad, he's not, I guess he is kind of cool. I knew he was really cool, but
come on, your dad's kind of cool.
He was the Seinfeld before I was, so I felt like I was the one who was behind the deal? I mean, I know, like it was a poke, not a pick, right? I don't want to wear the ribbon, like all that stuff. Right. There was this charity in Panama City back in '99, I think, and my mom got a Seinfeld shirt that had all the phrases, like all of them on there. But I mean, just the show was just like the humor, man, was so freaking funny, and I mean, it was just like everyday stuff, but slightly exaggerated, like the close talker, right? The guy who talks too close.
And,
what I'm talking about? But, I mean, Friends was funny. It was just funny in a different way, Yeah, how you doing? You had Chandler Bing. You had Ross, who was lame but funny. And,
Smelly cat.
Monica, who was overly competitive.
Oh, yeah.
And just was very hardcore and clean. I mean, it was just like the different personalities and how they conflicted and vibed together. I mean, that was a big freaking influence for me.
I mean, these are shows that are collaborations what am I saying? In types of people that are all mixed together, and you're picking them apart with your analytical brain. That you're taking these different personality types, and you're going, hey, I can, that's a character type, a trait, and you're probably putting these all into your mental Rolodex, and that's what comes out on your paper.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see with the movie, it's a bunch of different personalities, bunch of different confrontations, and it's culturally relevant.
Yeah.
And the big thing this movie does, man, is we're going to true comedy. True comedy is an equal opportunity employer. So, I mean, we make fun of everyone. We make fun of men. We make fun of women. We make fun of bro culture. We make fun of, radical feminism. We make fun of everything, man.
Yeah,
so,
as long as it's not PC, Kevin Seedorf, I'm not good with the PC.
I'm not good with the PC. I despise it.
Good.
And man, you will see it. I am seriously taking my 6 or 7 shot of NyQuil severe flu.
All right, man. Let's close this up. Let's close this up. We'll talk again after the movie goes out. Let the people know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, McDojo movie, which is you can find that on Instagram and Facebook. The Indiegogo campaign, just type in McDojo, it's in there. Look, if anybody has any questions, about film school, about the filmmaking process, you can direct message me. I'm all about helping people out when I can. So, just let me know.
All right, Kevin Seedorf, McDojo movie. Thanks for chit-chatting with me on the What Makes You Famous podcast. Any last words for the people?
Guys, just watch the movie when it comes out and keep watching South Park.
Well, there you have it, party people. Kevin Seedorf, the McDojo film, McDojo. Look it up, man, and find out more about the McDojo film. It looks like it's going to be fun. There's a little synopsis on the Indiegogo that tells you what the movie's about. It looks pretty interesting, man. I'm kind of stoked, and yeah, it's going to be a comedy. I mean, the way he's explaining it, he says it's not going to be like a spoof on martial arts. I mean, there's already Kung Fu Hustle and countless others out there, so he's going to take it a little more seriously. Seriously with the comedy. Yeah, serious comedy with Kevin Seedorf and the McDojo film. I'm kind of excited to see it, man. So, yeah, good on you. Thank you so much, Kevin Seedorf, for being on the program, What Makes You Famous. If you want to tell your story, you, the person listening, I encourage you, give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here. If you like what you hear, follow What Makes You Famous social media. Use the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Follow on Facebook at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Instagram at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Twitter at Makes Famous. And follow on YouTube at Keys Dan. Leave What Makes You Famous podcast a review and subscribe. Listen to What Makes You Famous podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and almost anywhere you find podcasts. Tell your story on my podcast, What Makes You Famous. Call 501-470-6386 and leave a message to set up a time. You can support What Makes You Famous using the PayPal link, paypal.me/KeysDan. Email info@radiowhat.com. What Makes You Famous podcast is a production of Keys Dan Enterprises Incorporated at keysdan.com. Thank you for listening. Radio What? The music you want. With some words to live by. If a relationship has to be a secret, you shouldn't be in it. A public service message from RadioWhat.com. The music you want. Tweet, yo. Follow Radio What on Twitter at Radio What Twit. Tweet, yo.